In the world of hip-hop, there are moments that completely shift the balance of power, moments so powerful that they can't be ignored. Recently, one of those moments unfolded on the biggest stages of entertainment, the Emmys and the VMAs. And standing right at the center of it all was none other than Kendrick Lamar. His victories weren't just about collecting trophies. They were about rewriting the story of modern rap. Kendrick didn't just win. He proved something bigger. Through his unmatched lyricism, storytelling, and artistry, he reminded the world that authentic creativity will always outshine temporary trends. His win spoke louder than any chart position, louder than any viral TikTok track, and louder than any manufactured hype. What Kendrick showcased was pure dominance, not by gimmicks, but by talent. But what made this moment even more unforgettable was the reaction it sparked. Fans couldn't help but notice. Drake, the global superstar who has long been seen as rap's most powerful figure, looking uncharacteristically silent. For years, Drake has been the face of commercial success. But on this night, the spotlight was all Kendrick's. Social media immediately exploded, turning Drake's reaction into a hot topic, a meme, and a debate. And the biggest question of all quickly surfaced. Has the crown officially shifted from Drake to Kendrick Lamar? What's special about this moment isn't just the awards themselves. It's the symbolism. Kendrick's triumph wasn't only for him. It was for every artist who believes in staying true to their roots, for every rapper who values storytelling over clout, and for every fan who believes hip-hop is more than just numbers. When an artist like Kendrick stands tall on the world's biggest stages, he's carrying more than just a trophy, he's carrying the culture. In this video, we're going to break it all down. Kendrick's powerful journey that led to this moment, how his Emmy and VMA wins shook the industry, Drake's shocking silence, and the fans' explosive response around the globe. If you're a true hip-hop fan, or even just curious about where the future of rap is headed to, do not want to miss this. Because what happened that night wasn't just history, it was a message. When we talk about rap legends, the conversation often starts with commercial giants and chart-topping hits. But if you really look deeper into the DNA of hip-hop, the storytelling, the cultural impact, the emotional connection, Kendrick Lamar's name rises above almost everyone else. His journey has been anything but overnight success. It's been years of crafting, years of pushing boundaries, and years of proving that authentic rap can survive in an era dominated by quick hits and viral trends. Kendrick was born and raised in Compton, California, city that's been both a birthplace of hip-hop greatness and a symbol of struggle. Growing up in an environment surrounded by challenges gave him two choices: follow the destructive cycles around him, or use his voice as a tool for survival. Luckily for the music world, Kendrick chose the latter. From his earliest mixtapes, you could hear that his words weren't just rhymes, they were stories, lessons, and reflections of real-life experiences. Unlike many rappers who chase fame through shock value or party anthems, Kendrick built his reputation through substance. His breakout album, Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City, wasn't just a project. It was a movie told through music. Each track painted a vivid picture of life in Compton, filled with raw emotions, difficult decisions, and the constant pull between right and wrong. Listeners didn't just hear the songs, they lived the story with him. That's what separated Kendrick from the crowd early on: his ability to turn rap into art and art into impact. As the years passed, his artistry only grew stronger. With To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick flipped the industry on its head. Instead of chasing trends, he gave the world an album layered with jazz, funk, and heavy political themes. At a time when most rappers focused on hits, Kendrick was dissecting topics like systemic racism, black identity, and self-worth. The album didn't just win Grammys. It sparked conversations worldwide. Critics hailed it as a masterpiece, while fans saw it as a soundtrack for truth. Then came Damn, an album that balanced accessibility with depth, proving Kendrick could dominate both the mainstream and the underground. It was this project that eventually earned him the Pulitzer Prize, a recognition no rapper had ever received before. The Pulitzer wasn't just a trophy. It was a declaration that Kendrick's music transcended genres, breaking barriers between literature, art, and hip-hop. But here's the important part. Kendrick never seemed obsessed with chasing numbers. While other rappers bragged about chart positions and streaming stats, Kendrick focused on creating timeless music. That's why his wins at the Emmys and the VMAs feel so significant. They represent years of staying true to his craft, resisting shortcuts, and trusting that real artistry would eventually shine. The Emmy win came as a shock to many casual fans. But for those who followed Kendrick closely, it made perfect sense. His visual storytelling, whether in short films, music videos, or live performances, has always been cinematic. Kendrick doesn't just drop music. He builds experiences. And awarding him on television's biggest stage was proof that the world was finally catching up to his genius. The VMAs, on the other hand, highlighted his dominance in the mainstream music scene. Despite not flooding the charts with endless singles, Kendrick's impact is so strong that when he does release, it shakes the culture. His VMA wins were a direct statement. You don't need to oversaturate the market to remain relevant. You just need to deliver quality that no one else can replicate. And while the industry celebrated Kendrick's victories, fans couldn't help but draw comparisons to Drake. For over a decade, Drake has been rap's commercial king, breaking streaming records, dominating radio, and shaping pop culture. But Kendrick's award season sweep reminded everyone that there's a difference between popularity and prestige. Drake may dominate the charts, but Kendrick dominates the respect of critics, peers, and institutions that shape music history. This is where the tension really begins to build. The stage was set, Kendrick Lamar, the poet-turned-global artist, stacking victories across multiple prestigious platforms. And Drake, the megastar, who suddenly looked like he wasn't holding the throne as tightly as before. And that leads us to the award night itself, the moment where the cameras caught everything. The wins, the reactions, and the spark that lit up social media worldwide. The night of the Emmys and the VMAs wasn't just another award show, was a cultural event. A moment where hip-hop stood shoulder to shoulder with the biggest names in television and mainstream music. Fans around the world tuned in not only to see who would take home trophies, but to witness the kind of performances and speeches that live forever in the memory of pop culture. And when Kendrick Lamar walked into the building, it was clear that this wasn't going to be just another night. From the very beginning, the energy felt different. When Kendrick's name appeared on the nominee lists, you could feel the anticipation in the crowd. People knew that his projects had already made history. And the possibility of him winning in categories usually dominated by pop stars and actors added an extra layer of excitement. The cameras caught celebrities whispering, fans on social media predicting outcomes, and critics already sharpening their pens to write about the night. The first major shock of the evening came when Kendrick won the Emmy. For many casual viewers, the announcement felt unexpected after all. It's not every day that a rapper crosses into television and dominates that space too. But for those who followed his career, it was long overdue. Kendrick's visual artistry has always gone beyond traditional music videos. His collaborations with directors and his eye for storytelling have turned his visuals into mini-films. Awarding him the Emmy wasn't just about one project. It was about recognizing the consistency and brilliance of his entire approach to merging music and cinema. As he walked to the stage, the room erupted. The applause wasn't polite, it was powerful. Artists, actors, and fellow musicians stood to honor him. And in that moment, you could see the respect that Kendrick commands across industries. His acceptance speech was classic Kendrick, humble yet thought-provoking. Instead of boasting about the win, he spoke about the importance of storytelling, about how art can inspire the next generation, and about the responsibility artists carry when they step into the spotlight. That humility, paired with the weight of his words, only made the moment more iconic. Later in the night came the VMAs. And this was where Kendrick truly solidified his dominance. The VMAs are known for being flashy, controversial, and star-driven. But when Kendrick hit the stage, everything shifted. His performance wasn't just a display of music, it was a cultural statement. With powerful visuals, sharp choreography, and a message that resonated with the times. Kendrick reminded everyone why he's not just another rapper performing a set. He's a storyteller commanding the stage, like it's his own theater. When the award announcements began, the tension was undeniable. The categories were stacked with some of the biggest names in music. But one by one, Kendrick's name was called. Each win felt heavier than the last, not just because of the trophies themselves, but because of what they represented. Recognition from one of the most mainstream award platforms in the world. By the end of the night, Kendrick had collected multiple VMAs, and the narrative was clear, he had officially conquered both the critical and commercial stages. And while Kendrick was having his historic moment, the cameras couldn't resist cutting to the crowd. That's when Drake's reaction, or lack thereof, became a story of its own. Drake, the artist who has been at the center of nearly every rap conversation for more than a decade, was noticeably reserved. Some saw it as respect, others saw it as disappointment. And many fans took it as proof that even Drake couldn't deny what was happening. Kendrick was owning the night. Social media immediately picked up on these moments. Within minutes, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok were flooded with clips of Kendrick holding his awards side by side with Drake's expressions. Memes exploded, hashtags trended, and fans debated endlessly about what it all meant. Was Drake simply being professional? Or was he realizing that at least for this night, the spotlight wasn't his to claim? For Kendrick's fans, the night felt like validation. For years, they've argued that his artistry, his vision, and his cultural impact were unmatched. Watching him sweep both the Emmys and the VMAs was proof that the world was finally recognizing what they had always believed. For Drake's fans, it was a wake-up call. Commercial success alone wasn't enough to silence the conversation anymore. By the end of the night, the headlines were everywhere. Kendrick Lamar wins big at Emmys and VMAs. Kendrick steals the show. Drake overshadowed by Kendrick's historic night. And just like that, a new chapter in rap history had been written. But this was just the surface. The true impact of the night was only beginning. What happened afterward, the global fan reactions, the debates, and the cultural conversations would turn this moment into something much larger than just trophies. If the Emmy and VMA trophies were the fireworks, then Drake's reaction was the spark that ignited a wildfire of conversations across the globe. What made the night unforgettable wasn't just Kendrick's victories, but the way the spotlight shifted so dramatically that even Drake, man who has dominated rap and pop culture for over a decade, found himself on the outside looking in. Drake has always been known for his confidence. Whether on stage, in interviews, or in his music, he rarely gives off an impression of doubt. He's the master of turning every situation into a win. The king of catchy one-liners and the ultimate symbol of commercial success. But on this night, the cameras caught something different. Every time Kendrick's name was called, the focus cut to Drake, and the expressions told a story no words could capture. Some clips showed him clapping politely. Others captured him looking distant. And in one moment, fans swore they saw disappointment flicker across his face. It wasn't dramatic, Drake wasn't booing or rolling his eyes, but it was subtle enough to fuel endless speculation. In today's digital age, subtlety is all that's needed. Within minutes, screenshots of Drake's face were being shared with captions like "Drake finally realizing the throne belongs to Kendrick," or "When the Grammys don't hurt, but the Emmys and VMAs do." Media outlets quickly jumped in. Entertainment blogs ran headlines like "Drake's Silent Night" and "Kendrick takes the crown as Drake watches." Talk shows dissected the moment, playing side-by-side clips of Kendrick accepting his awards and Drake's reactions. Even serious music critics began publishing essays about what the night meant for the future of rap. Suddenly, this wasn't just about two artists, it was about two different visions of hip-hop colliding on the world's biggest stages. Kendrick represents depth, artistry, and a long-term cultural legacy. Drake represents dominance, commercial appeal, and unmatched consistency in hits. Both are legends in their own right, but the question being debated everywhere was, who truly rules rap? For the first time in years, it felt like Kendrick had the stronger case. Fans on social media didn't hold back. Kendrick supporters celebrated by declaring it the official passing of the torch. Tweets like "the Pulitzer was the warm-up," "tonight Kendrick took the throne" went viral. TikTok edits paired Kendrick's speeches with Drake's facial reactions, turning them into mini-movies that racked up millions of views. Instagram fan pages flooded timelines with comparisons of the two rappers' careers, using the Emmy and VMA wins as proof that Kendrick was now untouchable. Drake's fan base, however, wasn't going to let the narrative slide so easily. They pointed out that Drake's record-breaking streams, sold-out tours, and constant presence in the charts were evidence that he still held the crown. Awards don't pay the bills, streams do, some argued. Others claimed that Drake was simply being respectful and letting Kendrick have his moment. But no matter how they spun it, the night's optics couldn't be denied. Kendrick looked like the victor, and Drake looked like the rival who suddenly seemed smaller in comparison. What made the debate even more heated was how the two rappers always represented opposite poles in the rap world. Drake is the entertainer, the superstar who blends rap with R&B and pop, appealing to the widest possible audience. Kendrick, on the other hand, is the storyteller, the activist, the poet whose music feels like literature set to beats. They're not just two artists, they're two archetypes, two different definitions of greatness. And for one night, it was clear that Kendrick's version of greatness was winning. Industry insiders also weighed in. Some producers and fellow rappers congratulated Kendrick publicly, calling his wins historic and game-changing. Others hinted that this might be a turning point for the industry itself, that perhaps the music world was starting to value substance over streams again. For years, critics complained that award shows often favored popularity over artistry. Kendrick's sweep seemed to prove the opposite, that true artistry could still win big. Meanwhile, Drake remained silent. No interviews, no immediate statements, no Instagram captions to spin the narrative. And in the world of Drake, silence speaks louder than words. Normally quick to control the conversation, his lack of response only fueled speculation. Was he upset? Was he strategizing his comeback? Or was he simply letting Kendrick enjoy the moment? Fans couldn't stop guessing. The debates raged on for days. Music YouTubers made hour-long breakdowns analyzing Kendrick's speeches and Drake's reactions. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to asking, is Drake still the #1 rapper? Every corner of hip-hop media, from casual blogs to established publications, was talking about it. In the end, one thing became clear: this wasn't just an award show. It was a cultural shift. Kendrick's wins and Drake's reactions created a storyline that captured the imagination of fans worldwide. It wasn't just about trophies anymore. It was about legacy, respect, and the future of rap. And as the dust settled, a new question emerged. If Kendrick had just claimed the throne, what would Drake do next? Would he fight to reclaim it? Or accept that his era was slowly fading? What happened at the Emmys and VMAs didn't stay confined to the award shows. The ripple effect spread across the globe, turning Kendrick Lamar's wins into a cultural moment and Drake's reaction into a viral phenomenon. Within hours, social media became the battlefield where fans, critics, and even casual observers weighed in on the night that shook the rap world. On Twitter, now X, hashtags like #KendrickTheKing, #DrakeInTears, and #RapThrone began trending worldwide. Thousands of tweets poured in every minute, some celebrating Kendrick's victories, others poking fun at Drake's reserved expressions, and many debating what the moment meant for the future of hip-hop. One viral tweet read, "Pulitzer, Emmys, VMAs. What's next for Kendrick and Oscar? This man is running laps around the industry." Another simply posted a screenshot of Drake's face with the caption, "This is the look of a dethroned king." On TikTok, the moment took on a life of its own. Creators stitched together Kendrick's acceptance speeches with clips of Drake clapping unenthusiastically, often adding dramatic music or funny captions. Some edits portrayed Kendrick as the underdog finally defeating the giant, while others exaggerated Drake's silence into a full-on meltdown. Within 24 hours, millions of views had been generated, making the award show one of the most talked about events of the year. Instagram and YouTube weren't far behind. Meme pages posted side-by-side pictures, Kendrick holding his awards and Drake staring blankly. Hip-hop commentators uploaded lengthy analysis videos, breaking down everything from Kendrick's word choice in his speeches to the exact moments Drake seemed uncomfortable. Fans dissected micro-expressions like forensic scientists, treating the event not just as entertainment, but as evidence in the never-ending Kendrick versus Drake debate. But beyond the jokes and the memes, there was a deeper cultural reaction. For many, Kendrick's wins symbolized a turning point in hip-hop, a reminder that artistry, storytelling, and authenticity still mattered in an industry often dominated by numbers. Fans from across the world expressed pride in seeing a rapper from Compton stand tall on the most prestigious stages, proving that hip-hop wasn't just surviving, it was evolving. In classrooms and online forums, discussions started about how Kendrick's recognition might inspire the next generation of artists. Teachers shared clips of his speeches as examples of perseverance, while young rappers and poets posted about how his success motivated them to focus on substance over gimmicks. In this sense, Kendrick's impact extended far beyond music. It became educational, cultural, even inspirational. The industry itself also began reacting. Producers, directors, and fellow artists took to social media to congratulate Kendrick. Some hinted that this moment would influence the future direction of hip-hop, encouraging labels to support more experimental and meaningful projects rather than just chasing quick hits. The balance of power in music is always shifting, and Kendrick's victories felt like a nudge toward authenticity and depth. Of course, not everyone was celebrating. Drake's supporters pushed back, arguing that memes don't define careers and that streaming numbers and ticket sales still prove his dominance. They pointed out that Drake remains one of the most successful artists of all time, with an influence that can't be erased by a single award night. Some even accused the media of exaggerating his reaction for clicks and views, turning a neutral expression into a manufactured rivalry. Still, the momentum was hard to ignore. News outlets from CNN to Rolling Stone covered the drama, framing Kendrick's wins as historic and Drake's silence as telling. Talk shows discussed whether Kendrick had officially overtaken Drake, while podcasts debated the age-old question: commercial power versus cultural legacy, what matters more in the end? Internationally, the story resonated just as strongly. In the UK, hip-hop fans compared the moment to their own rap legends gaining recognition in mainstream spaces. In Africa, fans celebrated Kendrick as proof that socially conscious rap could thrive globally. In Asia, Kendrick's wins sparked renewed interest in hip-hop as an art form, inspiring local artists to push for more respect in their industries. The ripple effect was worldwide, reminding everyone that rap isn't just American culture anymore, it's global culture. The cultural impact was also evident in fashion, design, and even marketing. Brands quickly jumped in, with some posting cheeky ads referencing the memes. Streetwear companies used the moment to launch limited edition merch featuring slogans like "Sit down, be humble again." It was clear Kendrick's wins weren't just news. They were a branding opportunity. Perhaps the most powerful consequence of all was the conversation it sparked about legacy. Fans, critics, and artists alike began asking, when history looks back on this era of hip-hop, who will be remembered as the true king? Drake, the chart-dominating machine who defined an entire decade of popular music? Or Kendrick, the visionary poet who crossed artistic boundaries and earned accolades reserved for the greatest storytellers of all time? No matter which side people chose, one fact couldn't be denied. After that night, the rap world would never see Kendrick or Drake the same way again. When the lights dimmed and the curtains closed on that unforgettable award season, one thing was clear: the story of rap had just turned a new page. Kendrick Lamar didn't just collect trophies. He carved his name deeper into the history books of hip-hop. His Emmy and VMA victories weren't about bragging rights, they were proof that real artistry, raw storytelling, and cultural authenticity can outlast even the loudest trends. For years, hip-hop fans have debated who truly holds the throne: Drake, with his chart dominance and worldwide commercial success, or Kendrick, with his critical acclaim and poetic impact. The Emmy and VMA wins didn't end the debate, but they shifted the conversation. Suddenly, the question wasn't just about numbers, it was about legacy. And in that conversation, Kendrick stood tall. But here's the deeper truth: this isn't just a rivalry between two superstars. It's a reflection of the rap industry itself. On one side, there's the pursuit of streams, hits, and viral fame. On the other, there's the pursuit of depth, substance, and timeless music. Kendrick and Drake symbolize these two worlds, and their clash represents the ongoing struggle within hip-hop to balance entertainment and art. As fans, what we witnessed wasn't just a competition, it was history in the making. The Pulitzer Prize, the Grammys, the Emmy, the VMA. Kendrick Lamar has collected achievements across every platform that once seemed out of reach for rappers. Each accolade breaks down another wall, proving that hip-hop is more than a genre. It's a form of art worthy of the highest recognition. Meanwhile, Drake remains one of the most powerful figures in music. His silence during this moment only added fuel to the fire, but it also set the stage for his next move. If history has shown us anything, it's that Drake knows how to bounce back. Whether through a new album, a viral anthem, or a record-breaking tour, he has the tools to remind the world of his dominance. The real question is, will he focus on chasing numbers, or will he take inspiration from Kendrick and aim to create something deeper? For fans, this is the beauty of hip-hop. It's unpredictable, it's emotional, it's competitive, and it's alive. Every award, every performance, every reaction sparks new debates, new discussions, and new reasons to love the culture. And that's why platforms like Mighty X matter. Because here, we're not just reporting the headlines, we're breaking them down, analyzing the culture, and giving fans a voice in the conversation. From Kendrick's groundbreaking wins to Drake's unforgettable reactions, Mighty X is here to capture every moment that makes hip-hop the most exciting movement in the world. As we close this chapter, one thing is certain: the future of rap has never been brighter. If Kendrick's victories prove anything, it's that young artists coming up today don't have to compromise authenticity for success. They don't have to water down their art to be recognized. They can tell their truth, represent their culture, and still stand on the biggest stages with the world watching. So whether you're Team Kendrick, Team Drake, or simply a fan of great music, this moment is one we'll be talking about for years. Because it wasn't just about one night, one stage, or one rivalry. It was about hip-hop proving, once again, that it's the heartbeat of global culture. And trust me, this story is far from over. The next albums, the next performances, and the next award shows will keep this fire burning. But for now, let's give Kendrick Lamar his flowers. He earned them. And as for Drake, the ball is in his court. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on every twist, every rivalry, and every cultural shift in the world of rap, make sure you stick with Mighty X, because here, the story never ends, and the next chapter is always just around the corner. Always just around the corner.